Welcome to the foundation, y'all. I am your host, L, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here with you for another episode of the foundation. Today's episode is entitled How to Start a Private Trust. Did this before, it got messed up. We had technical difficulties. Just like I had problems starting this show. So I appreciate you waiting. If you were waiting, it's a beautiful dance to be here, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here with us. So what we're going to do is, what is a private contract? What is a private trust? What is the difference between a private contract and a public contract? Why private contracts are so powerful? And how to start a private trust. So I say personally that we just jump into this. I'm having issues, man. I can't see the chat. I don't know how to get it up. But, life is luxurious. And I'm just going to accept and trust that everything's going on. Make sure you check out welcometothefoundation.com. We correctly apply information here. Definitely want to say peace to, I'm saying all thanks and honors and praises due to the creator and ancestors. I want to shout out Brother Yusuf L. Y'all make sure you check out SPC University. And I appreciate all the new listeners, all the new people checking out the show. Now that we have, done our little transition dance to YouTube. And let's get into this. Let's jump into it. And make sure you check out the current events. We're doing that every single day. But we're going to do this straight up how I do it, right? So, first of all, what is a private trust? Right? I think the first thing we need to do, we need to look at the definition of trust. So let's just type in trust and let's type in legal definition. Right? And this is what I do. This is how I do it. So you guys are going to come with me as I do this. So Investopedia, I like U.S. law. So this is, what is this? Cornell law. A trust is a form of a division of rights and a fiduciary relationship in which ownership of asset goes to a third party known as a trustee. A trust is a right enforceable in equity. The formation of a valid trust requires a settlor, intent and capacity, definitive beneficiary, trustees, and specifically legal formalities. You got to do your research. Let's back up a little bit. I want to go to Investopedia. Let's check this out. So what is a trust? A trust is a legal entity with separate and distinct rights, similar to a person or a corporation. In a trust, a party is known as a trustor. They give property to another, who is the trustee, the right to hold the title and to manage a property or asset for the benefit of a third party. Trust can be established to provide legal protection. It's a fiduciary relationship. So remember that. Remember that's a fiduciary relationship. Let's go back one more time, because we need to know what this is. So legal definition, legal dictionary, right? A trust relationship. A relationship created at the direction of an individual A trust may be created for the financial benefit of the person. Right? Trust property includes the control and distribution of the property in their lives and then after their deaths. And the use of a trust. Let's do one more just for fun dance. Trust definition, legal definition. Okay, here we go. A trust is a legal tool used by many individuals to control their assets or manage that are assets, control how their assets, are managed after death. Once a trust has been created, the creator, called a trustor, transfers ownership. It's a contract. It's represented or evidenced by a contract. And that's what we see. What is a trust? So, and let's go into like, what is a contract? The contract. Ooh, man, I can't spell. Type, spell. Contract. Legal. Oh, I cheated. Contract. A contract is an agreement between parties creating mutual obligations that are enforceable by law. Okay, so the basic elements, legally enforceable, to allow it to be legally enforceable, are mutual assent, offering and acceptance, consideration, capacity, performance, remedies for breach of contract, and specific performance and consideration. Contracts are promises that the law will enforce. So let's get into, I did this already. Oh, what is the difference between a private contract and a public contract? A private contract is an agreement between two or more parties that creates legally binding rights and obligations for the parties. It is a voluntary agreement between private citizens or businesses and is not subject to public or governmental regulation. Ooh. Not subject to governmental regulation. That's a big one. Oh, now I get it. Now I get why these are so popular. A public contract, on the other hand, is an agreement between a government agency and such as a municipality, county, state, federal government, and an individual or business entity to provide goods or services to the government. I think is labor a good? Subject to a variety of laws and regulations, including those concerning procurement. Contracts between a government agency and private business to provide healthcare and services. Look, these are examples, but it is covered. It is subject to a variety of laws and regulations. You see that? Versus not subject to public or governmental regulations. That's what it is. It's a private structure evidenced by contract. Why is that important? Well, okay, so moving forward, we have, and I'm just gonna do, because I like the government, U.S. Constitution. Let's just type it in. I want to gov. There it is, gov. I like it. Gov. So this is Article 1. And Article 1 is Congress. Or legislative. All legislative powers herein, okay? So I'm going to go down to Section 10 because it's important, especially after what we just learned. Section 10, of Article 1 of the Constitution. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold or silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law or law impairing the obligation of contracts. Oh, back up. No state shall. This is what applies to us. No state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of contracts. And that's why when you go back here, what is the difference between public and private contract? It says right here, not subject to public or governmental regulation. What does it say right here? No state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of contracts. There it is, right? Let's take it one more step and then we'll get into it, right? One more step, all right? And you follow along with me. and I'm just going to type this in, and I'm not even going to type it in correctly. And I'm doing this to show you that this is pretty easy to find. We just got to know where to find it. So this is HAGUE, Hague Convention on the Recognition of Trust. Right? And that's not even what it's called. It's more than that. It's different. This is it right here. Right? Okay, so it's actually called, and this is from 85. This is not new. The Convention of 1 July 1985 on the law applicable to trusts. So the law applicable to the trusts. So what law is governing to the trust and the recognition of the trusts, right? So considering that the trust as developed in courts of equity in common law jurisdictions and adopted with some modifications in other jurisdictions is a unique legal institution desiring to establish common provisions on the law applicable to trusts and to deal with the most important issues concerning the recognition of trust, have resolved to conclude a convention to its effect and have agreed upon the following provisions. This convention specifies the law applicable to trusts and governs their recognition. And understand how many countries have signed on to this onto this convention. How many countries are party to this document? The term trust refers to a legal relationships created inter vivos, that's during life, or on death by a person, the settlor or grantor, I will say, when assets have been placed under the control of a trustee for the benefit of a beneficiary or for a specified purpose. Right? So I'm going to move down to, I like Article 6. You all can look at this. You can go here, you can find it, you can do it exactly what I did. Just rewind and type in what I typed in, and you do your dance. A trust shall be governed by the law chosen by the settlor. Oh, my goodness. And we've already talked about what it is. Now we're getting into why is it powerful? Why are people talking about it? Why is it such a big deal? Why do the elite and 1% in this country utilize them? How do the rich get richer? What are the instruments that they're using that we are not using? What law? Are we being taught this law? A trust shall be governed by the law chosen by the settlor. The choice must be expressed or implied in the terms of the instrument creating or the writing evidencing the trust, interpreted, if necessary, in the light of the circumstances of the case. Where the law chosen under the previous paragraph does not provide for trust or the category of trust involved, the choice shall not be effective, and the law specified in Article 7 may apply, or shall apply, Article 7, where no applicable law has been chosen. So in the indenture, if there's no law chosen, a trust shall be governed by the law with which it is most closely connected. In ascertaining the law with which a trust is most closely connected, reference shall be made in particular to the place of administration of the trust designated by the settlor, which would be alleged to be public, or why not? B, the situs of the assets of the trust, which would be alleged to be in the public. C, the place of residence or business of the trustee. Residence, by the word resident, automatically infers and signifies public. D, the objects of the trust and the places where they are to be fulfilled. The law specified in Article 6 or Article 7 shall govern the validity of the trust, its construction, its effects, and the administration of the trust. In particular, that law, Article 6, is what the grantor says the law is. Article 7 is public law. We've established that. So either or will govern the appointment, resignation, and removal of trustees, the capacity to act as a trustee, and the devolution of the office of trustee. The rights and duties of trustees among themselves, the rights and duties to delegate in whole or in part the discharge of their duties or the exercise of their powers, the power of the trustees to administer or to dispose of trust assets. Who's governing the powers of the trustees? Who's governing the disposition of the assets of the trust? To create security interest in the trust assets or to acquire new assets. The powers of investment of the trustees. Restrictions upon the duration of the trust and upon the power to accumulate income of the trust. I think that would have something directly to do with taxes and why people are so interested in these trusts. I'm more interested in the privacy, being private. The relationships between the trustees and the beneficiaries, including the personal liability of the trustees to the beneficiaries. The variation or termination of the trustees, the distribution of the trust assets, and the duty of trustees to account for their administrations. It's private. The books of the trust are private. They cannot, they cannot be subpoenaed. That's what this is saying. That's what this means. That sounds very powerful. And we go in more and more into this in, trustee training, but I'm showing you guys the substantiation. This isn't theory. This isn't me sitting in my garage trying to, think of some clickbait dance. This is my life's work. And I'm sharing. Look, everyone needs to know this. No discrimination. Moving forward. How do you start one? Let's do this. You need an indenture. You need a contract, right? You go to an attorney. I'm going to tell you right now, the jurisdiction of that indenture is going to be the state, because all attorneys have state affiliation. What is that state affiliation? They have bar cards issued to them from the state. I believe that their first duty is to the state and secondary to their client. But more importantly, and nothing to, be, I would say, considered any, type of malicious behavior. I don't consider it malicious. I just know what is taught in the schools, public education. I understand how the inception, how they were built, and what is taught, the curriculums, how the curriculums are controlled from the federal curriculums that are handed down due to, state schools accepting federal funding, to the deanships, professorships, and chairs at universities that are funded by private family foundations. And we can get into that more, but look, I'm not trying to digress too heavy. But you need a trust indenture. So if you go to an attorney and you get a trust done, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a statutory or public governed trust. And this Hague Convention right here, they tell you, you got Article 6 and you got Article 7. Article 6 says the trust is governed by the laws chosen by the grantor or the settlor. Article 7 is governed by the law in which it is most closely connected. And that's going to be some public dancing. We know that. So you're going to need a trust indenture. Now, I'm not saying you go to an attorney. I'm not saying you make one. And I'm not going to, go into circles and talking and trying to make myself sound smart right now in an effort to market trustee training. Because if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. It's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some substance. But first, I'm going to tell you I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. I never give legal advice. You can never say I gave you legal advice because I don't give legal advice. I can't. This is for education, informational purposes only. Some people would say it's entertainment. It's up to you. But I will tell you this, right? Because I wouldn't say, I have to think about my responsibility in this, right? And I would say that I'm not giving you, like a firecracker that you can light and blow your hands off with. And if you want to get heavier and if you want to learn more, you have to get into some sort of curriculum, some sort of private training. You're not going to learn this in the public. You may see people advertising, people talking about it in the public, but it's not, it's privately. And you may use public means of communication to have a private conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get, I know people play semantics all day. Just don't do fraud. Don't do it. You're better than that. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to show you. So let me just tell you. In the private, you have what is known as long forms. And these are, private documents. They're the private trust indentures, private minutes, all that stuff. The public never sees that. A lot of times when you see, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, any Goldwaters or, any of that in court, in Supreme Court or anything like that, what they do is they make a certified notarial copy of the portion of the original trust indenture that is required for them to substantiate whatever they're attempting to substantiate in the court. I've never seen a true private indenture be disclosed to the public. I know for a fact that there's terms within most all private indentures that I consider to be legitimate that specifically state if they become public in any way, if they're registered with the state or whatever, that the trustees must dissolve the trust. Is to be private. So anyone who's telling you to take the entire trust indenture to do business with is, I don't know. You should ask them some more questions. I'm not going to say what they are. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you that's ask questions because I don't know everything. But most times, especially with private contractual trust or private trust or whatever, you're going to deal in what's known as trust abstracts, and maybe you've heard of trust abstracts. I like to reference them as trust short forms. So let's just look for a short form. So short form, here, let me see, trust. Let me start over. Trust, short. I can't. My fingers. I gotta reach over this mic. Short form indenture. Yeah, let's do that. Indenture. Let's do template. Right? And look, this is not, it's just typical. Here, let's see this one. I think this might work. Remember our secure provisions? Nope, that might not work. Let's go back up. Okay, here we go. See, it's got the article, it's got the name of the trust, recitals. So I like this. It says it's irrevocable living trust. I don't like that. I think that's an oxymoron. Irrevocable living trust. A living trust is a grantor trust, and those trusts are revocable. The word living, I don't like the word living. You hear what I'm saying? I don't like the word living. But who am I? So irrevocable trust agreement dated blah, blah, blah. Okay, boom. Income cap trust. I don't like that. It's a trust, man. Recitals, the declaration. So they got the declaration. The appointment of the initial trustee. I like that. Trustees. It's the name. So like this is the name of the trust. So I would just put the name of the trust, income cap. The income cap, I don't like that. Trust. So what's the name of the trust? ABC Trust? 12 Main Street Trust? It can be any name. Don't be caught up in that, right? The purpose of the trust, you got to have the purpose. Initial funding, I don't think you need that. You definitely need like provisions in the trustee's powers. You're going to need trustee's powers. Likely going to need the name of the grantor. And there's a spot for the name of the grantor. Initial trustee, typically trustees. But, you're going to have pretty much the necessary requirements in the short form or in the abstract that meets, banking requirements to open a bank, the requirements at the DMV for them to title a vehicle, requirements at the county level for them to title property, things of that nature. The requirements to, approach Charles Schwab and get a trust brokerage account open, things of that nature. But here's the thing. You need to get this right the first time. Because once you open, they're going to ask for a copy of the trust indenture, right? And if you don't have the short form tip top, I'm saying my people, shout out to my people in England, you know what I mean? Tip top. If it's not in tip top, you don't get a second chance. That relationship that you create with that short form or that abstract, with that bank or that company, if there's an issue or something wrong, you made a mistake, you did some research later on, and 2 years later you realize you made a mistake. Sure, you can amend the trust document, but any business that has been done up until that amendment is fair game. IRS audits, creditors, litigation. That's why it's so important to have the contract tip-top, tightened, sorted out from people who know what they're doing, from organizations, individuals, people who know what they're doing, who can help you create this trust indenture so you can, use an abstract or a short form to, do business. But you need a trust indenture. I'm just telling you, if you've never heard it before, I suggest you use an abstract or a short form. Don't give them the whole trust indenture. And sometimes they'll be like, you need the first page of the trust and the last page of the trust. But that's, it necessitates certain things, right? So I'm just going to go on from this, right? And the next step is you got to get an EIN for the trust, right? So what we're doing is, this is form SS4. And if I'm going too fast, y'all just come back and just do your dance, rewind it, check it out again. Form SS4. I'm on the IRS website. Y'all see me doing this dance. Here's the PDF. And then blah, blah. Here you go. SS4. So the name of the trust, right? Trade name. If there's a different trade name, typically not. Executor, administrator, or trustee. So the executor and administrator or the trustee, can apply for the EIN on behalf of the business, by implication. So typically, it's going to be the trustee. Mailing address for the trust. And you got the county and state where the principal business is located. Name a responsible party. Typically, that's going to be, the trustee or the administrator, whoever's doing this. Then they want the EIN, SSN, they want the social of the responsible party. Fine, because you know how you're going to administer it. Is this application limited? I'm skipping that because you lost me. Limited liability? No, it's a trust. Type of entity. It's a trust. And then they want the TIN of the grantor. Tax identification number. And, if you put it up here, they'll use that. If a corporation, I'm done with that, because why? It's a trust. Reason for applying. Start a new business. And, this is geared toward business. So, there's trust in here, but here we created a trust. Right? Specified type. Caveat. Right? Types of trust. You never heard that before, right? Of trust. And then IRS. This is how I do it, and this is how I suggest you do it. Ooh, IRS.gov. It's an official. It's a .gov. We like that, right? I like that. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't like that .net, that .BitChute. I don't like them dances. That stuff's just, how do you verify it? We like to verify over here at the foundation. I'm seeker of truth. I ain't playing. Ooh, did you know the foundation? It's the F is short for foundation. Trust primer. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Trust instrument is a pretty powerful piece of paper. Look at the IRS telling you. What? This flexibility allows the trust instrument to serve a number of tax planning purposes. Ooh-wee, right? Hold on, let's check it again. It's the IRS.gov. All right, so we're talking about types of trust, right? I'm very familiar with this document, obviously. Tax law concepts. Tax law from the IRS. Okay, let's holler at me. A is a simple trust. Simple trust must distribute all its income, currently, generally. It cannot accumulate income, distribute out of the corpus, or pay money for charitable purposes. We got a complex trust. A complex trust is any trust that does not meet the requirements for a simple trust. Okay. Complex trust may accumulate income, distribute amounts other than current income, and make deductible payments for charitable purposes. Hold on, man. Woo. Sounds like some, tax dancery. Pay attention to that. We're talking about how to start one. Administration, the nuances. Trustee training, y'all. I'm serious. A grantor trust. A grantor trust is a trust over which the grantor has retained certain interest or control. The grantor trust rules in IRC 671 through 678 are anti-abuse rules. Man, so grantor trust, as soon as you start talking about a grantor trust, IRS, y'all start talking about anti-abuse. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at right here. Now stop it. Just quit. Thank you. Jeez. Complex trust. So going back to here, when it says, specified type. This is the IRS, right? IRS form SS4. tax law concepts, simple trust, complex trust, grantor trust. I'm doing this. I can't give you legal advice. I can't tell you what to do. Stop it. Stop it. I don't like it. I can't tell you what to do. Can't give you legal advice. I can tell you what I'm doing. Educational and informational purposes only, right? Date business is started. That would be, the inception of the trust. Closing month of accounting year. Typically, that's going to be December for most people. Highest number of employees. Employees? Nah. So 0. I'm doing 0 dances, right? First date wages? Oh, you lost me. That doesn't apply. And this is the thing, y'all. A lot of people think you got to fill out everything in a form. And if it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. You can always fix it. You can change it. You can amend it later. Check one box that best describes principal activity of your business, right? I'm gonna click other because I don't like any of this stuff. Real estate, manufacturing. I'm gonna go back to what the IRS was talking about, right? And what they say? Pray powerful peace. Flexibility allows trust to serve number of tax planning purposes. Tax planning? Tax planning? Tax planning? Maybe? Tax planning? Man, palling. Tax planning, asset protection. There's a number of, what's the principal activity? What is it doing? Has the applicant entity, the trust, ever applied and received an EIN? No, man, this is brand new. So you do know there, right? Third party designee, ain't no third party. I'm first person player. Name and title. So me personally, I'm gonna put my name, Sold L, and I'm gonna put trustee. So I'm gonna, Sold L, and I'm gonna put trustee. And you can also designate it TTE. TTE also works too. Applicant's telephone number. Cool. Don't have a fax. Sign and date. That's it. One page. Boom. EIN. Now you can do this. You can fill it out. You can send it to the address, depending on where you are. I think, there's another form. Where's the other form? It's not this form. So in the instructions, right? And I'm just not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. So let's go to the instructions. Form instructions. Whoops. Let's do the PDF dance. See, y'all watching me do this. I do the same dance. Click on it, man. There you go. So, if I remember correctly, where is it? Where'd it go? I don't see it. Did they change it? They might have changed it. But they used to have addresses. They're like, if you live in this state, you send it here. If you live in this state, you send it here. But this might be, how to apply. Hold on. Related forms. Specific instructions, right? And there's the lines, personal service, disregarded entities. So here we go. Ooh, let's check this out. A disregarded entity, I like this one, is an eligible entity that is treated as an entity not separate from its single owner for income tax purposes. Disregarded entities include a single member limited liability company and certain qualified foreign entities. That's good to know. That's good to know. Line 16, signature, right? Third party designee, when required. It doesn't say where to send it. Maybe I missed it, right? Where to file. Here we go. Where to file or fax. Here it is. If you live in one of the 50 states or the District of Columbia, send it here. Internal Revenue Service, attention EIN operation, Cincinnati, Ohio. But there's an easier way. Let's jump into it. So the easier way is to go to irs.gov, right? .gov. But that's just so you know. I just wanted to show y'all that so you know. And then you can type in here like apply EIN. You see, I already did that. Or, there's a button down here, but they change this all the time. So I'm just going to use the search engine so y'all can see me do it. irs.gov, we're not playing. And then I scroll down because, there's other stuff. How to, and that's going to be how to. But this is EIN online. Apply, not how to, but apply. Right? I ain't doing no payment plan, right? So you want to read this. This is an online application. And you can do this. I think you can do this till like 8 o'clock. You can see it's still open. Like if it's not open, it'll show you. or it just won't, you'll get an error message. So yeah, read this. Oops. Begin application. Make sure you read all of this stuff. Begin application. And then it says, if you are not comfortable sending information via internet, download form SS4. And that's what we just went through. Because this is the SS4, but just online. So this is just running you through that form we just went through. So here, we start with trust. It's just like not in the same order. Right? And they want to know what type of trust. And we went through those trusts, right? So here's the options. Charitable, I don't like any of this stuff. But here's irrevocable. And if we go back to the IRS trust primer, this is the IRS, a revocable trust. Revocable trusts are also called living trusts. The grantor retains the ability to revoke the trust and revert the trust assets in the grantor. The trust is revocable and the income is taxable to the grantor. So this would sound like a disregarded entity, right? Where's those instructions? It was down here. There it is. Disregarded entity, right? Disregarded entity is an eligible entity that is treated as an entity not separate from the single owner. Right? But see, in here, in the trust primer, and we have a trust primer too, and it's different than this, It's obviously not about the public dance. An irrevocable trust is one that by its term cannot be revoked. And, that's what it is. So that, that's my dance. So I'm going to do irrevocable trust right here, and then blah, blah. And then, looks familiar. I'm going to read this. Looks very familiar to me. Form 1041, that's the return. They want the first name, middle name, right? And then the SSN. And I can't go further because I'm not, I don't do the SSN dance, and I don't need an EIN. I don't need a trust EIN. But this is how you do it. And this is the responsible party. Remember, in the actual form itself, what did I do with that dance? There's the application. Right here, name of responsible party. So see 7A, responsible party, 7B, right? That's where this is, right here, responsible party. And they want the address and the details, like the name of the trust and so on and so forth. And then they'll give you a confirmation, and then you can get it as a PDF online, so you can just save it and print it right there. And that's how you start a trust. You need a trust indenture, and you need the EIN. Now, the indenture is important, and I'm not trying to make it seem like it's that easy. It is fundamentally, but it's not necessarily that easy to know what you're doing, know what the proper contract is, know what the proper terms that need to be required in the contract, the disclosures, as well as anything else that needs to go with the short form every time you initiate a business relationship on behalf of the trust. There's powers that go along with that if you do it correctly. Proper administration, you can't self-deal, you can't commingle, you can't do fraud. But, you can definitely protect your assets, protect your estate from probate, death tax, inheritance tax, generation skipping, all these, a lot of tax, because the trust doesn't die. So there's no distribution. It's just your heirs, the trust, your junior trustees, your children, whoever, right? They take over the administration of the same structure with the same bank account, with the same title to the same property. The property is titled in the name of the trust. So the property doesn't change ownership. So there's no taxing, and there's a lot of stuff. And those are just some of the few benefits. And, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to make this super long. But I definitely, it's 2024. We're starting. It's still January 17th today. And I want to start this off right. Like, let's do this dance. What time is better than now? Welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. We had technical difficulties today. It didn't go out today, but it's going out. The most affordable trustee training that we've ever had here at the foundation. How to administer it. It's more about the administration than it is about the trust indenture. But you also have to have the correct terms. But the way a trust is disregarded is through commingling, self-dealing, misadministration, and people doing things and administering a trust in a way that is incorrect, that they thought it was correct, and it's too late. And what are the detriments? You have, I don't know, let's say you have someone, he's private, and I don't make money. I don't, it goes through the trust. But there's commingling, there's self-dealing, so they disregard the separate entity status of the trust, and they tax all the income of the trust to the trustee. I'm telling you, this is it. This is all bad. This is all bad. It's all bad. And I've seen it. I've seen it in court case documents. I've seen it personally with people, and I'm like, why'd y'all do that? They just didn't know. So they tax it all to the trustee. Typically, this is after like 5 or 7 years of administration. Like they let you go for a while. And then it's the willful failure to file an individual tax return because you didn't, because you thought everything was right and you were doing it right. And then there's interest, penalties, and fees and taxes. Interest, penalties, and fees on those years, each and every year, where they're saying that there was willful failure to file the individual return. It's not cool. They had the alarm going off. I'm doing a live show, man. Whatever. But yeah, they'll disregard it. And you're operating, you're doing your dance, you paid the guru, thousands of dollars, and here to come, you get audited and stuff. And let me tell you the truth, it's typically going to be a state audit, and it's all bad. It changes your life. You thought you were doing your dance. So foundation trustee training, silver tier, most affordable, at your own pace. You watch the videos, you can watch it again, you can take notes, you can watch it again, you can watch it again. You can go through this course as many times as you want. New lesson added every 60 days minimum. I just dropped the lesson on how to open a bank account with the trust. I think the next lesson I'll do is, how to title a vehicle or something like that. Every 60 days, I'm dropping lessons. You get everything you see here and more, and you get access to the private portal, where we got a lot of stuff going back there. It's the private side and we love it. Also, we have the Foundation Magazine issue number 4 for this month. It's going out this week and next week. So if you haven't signed up for your subscription, you can do it now and you can still get the 4th issue. We have digital, we have print editions, whatever you want to do. We suggest, and for those of you who have missed them, the previous episodes, we're working on seeing if we can't get, issues. The previous issues of the Foundation Magazine, we're working on to see if we can't get, our previous issues available. And I think it's going to be a limited number. We'll let you know, man. The email list, we'll advertise it. But if people are interested in the back issues of the Foundation Magazine, let us know. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com. You can leave a comment. You can do all your dance. Just do your dance. Get a hold of us. We're all over, man. We appreciate it. So, like, back issues, man. I had one person ask, and I was like, man, that's a good idea. So I'm asking y'all, how to start a business. $20. It's 2 or 3 modules, multiple lessons. It's a lot. If that's what you're into, $20. Accessing the portal. And finally, there it is. This is how you log into the portal. We call it the private side. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com if you would like an invitation. Some of y'all got invitations and you didn't accept your invitation. You got to check your spam. Quit playing with me. And log in, do your dance. Appreciate y'all checking out the show, How to Start a Private Trust. I highly recommend you get into trustee training in some way, shape, or form. We have a silver tier, we have a gold tier, we have a platinum tier. For those of you who have been in training, you have trust, so on and so forth. The foundation, we offer retainers, annual retainers. You can put us on retainer. You got the whole team. We got you from titling vehicles, property, succession, estate administration, management. To be honest, I'm even directly managing a fund, like a brokerage fund for client. So we do it all, and we're open to work with you. We want to see you do great. We want to see you reestablish your private estate. We want to see you reestablish your family wealth. We want to see you reduce your dependencies on the public and on its services and on its structure specifically. So appreciate you checking out the show. Make sure you check out the websites, all the social media, give us views, just show us show support. In my opinion, you're showing the foundation support. Even if you put the YouTube video on and let it play in the background on mute, just, give us a play. You're not really doing anything for yourself. And I do my best to provide value on this platform, but just show us some love. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. We'll be back. I'll be back next week, same time. I was a little late today. We had technical difficulties. I can't see the chat. I can't see anything. I'm just going off faith that this is working. And I trust it is. But y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you send 10 things that you are thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. Check us out. Follow us. Like us. Subscribe. Get with us, man. We're trying to link up. So I'll catch y'all next week.